Now we're good. We are officially good now. Okay, guys? We're good. We're fine. We're fine. We're fine now. We're fine. We're fine. Copium. We're fine. 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 All right. We're fine. We're fine. We're golden. We're golden. Let's continue on with the story. I mean, not story, but this. Dragon Ball? All right. All right. OG Dragon Ball, or like the overall entire Dragon Ball franchise, I think it's all right. Okay, it's okay. It's not good. It's not perfect. It's okay. I have not read the manga for this. I don't like that. I don't like that song. I've not read the manga for this, but personally, from an anime's perspective, this. All right. Other than Pokemon, this is technically my first ever anime I've ever watched. But it was like on Cartoon. No, it was on like Nickelodeon. But even then, I would say that like I'm not going to give it some SS plus tier just because it was the first ever anime I ever watched or anything like that. Like if this is theoretically an anime tier list. But even with all that said, I realistically put this probably in C tier. But I'm gonna put this in haven't read. Oh, I didn't put it there. All right, I put it there now. GTO, Great Teacher Ozen, I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. I've read this. I thought it was C tier. The reason why is because it kind of falls in a parody trope as well, in my opinion. It's him giving life lessons. Don't get me wrong. It's a good story for a lot of people. It gives people a lot of life lessons and stuff like that. But even then, with all that, I still want to really put in a whole lot of effort for that. Or wait, what am I trying to say here? I still want to put it at a very high tier list, in my opinion. Or put it really high in the tier list, in my opinion. Okay. Vinland Saga. Why am I talking right now? I apologize for not talking. Why am I... Dude, I'm like so paranoid for some reason. I think it's because... Alright, so... Actually, no. I'll talk about this way later down the line. Yeah, I'll talk about that way later down the line. But anyways, let's continue on with the stream. It doesn't like anything's actually going to happen. Anyways, boys. So continue on. Vinland Saga is something I've only watched the anime. I never actually read the manga. Or no, I'll be lying. I read the first 2 chapters of it. Really fucking good. On the same level, I would say, and for some people, as Berserk and Kingdom. Berserk, Kingdom, and Vagabond as like the big 4 in terms of like the pinnacle of seinen manga. But to me, I've mainly watched anime, so I can't really put it on a tier list because I've watched anime for this mainly. Now, what is this? Is that Ronin Kenshin? What is this? What the fuck is this? Oh, Blade of the Immortal. Oh, duh. Okay. So Blade of the Immortal is... I haven't read it or watched it. I heard it was really good. I mean, but at the same time, I don't really know if I ever will. It's basically, I'm pretty sure I remember reading the synopsis of this, and it's... I mean, it's really only a... It's like a shonen. I mean, is it shonen? Like, what is Blade? It's Blade of the Immortal shonen. It's basically like, I remember reading the synopsis of this, and basically it's like someone, I'm pretty sure it's like kill like 1,000 demons or something like that, and after that he could finally die, or that might be something else. All I know is this isn't really a story for me. I know, judging from my tier list, you would probably think, hey, it might be part of your thing, because you talked about earlier of you saying that like you love sending stuff, but for me, no. I don't know what it is. It's really interesting, but I don't know if I ever got the time to actually read it. No, what is this? Black Lagoon. This is like an OG 2010s type of anime thing. It has like iconic, sword fighting, not sword fighting. It has iconic like sending tropes of back in the day. Like cute girls, ecchi, that type of stuff. Not really my thing, in all honesty. I don't even know if the story is good or not. A lot of people said it's good, but honestly, from what I've heard about it, not my type of thing. So I'm just gonna haven't read, but yeah. This reminds me of one of my favorite shonens and my favorite story ever, like growing up, and that's Hakura no Go. Hakura no Go is not something that a lot of people might have heard of. It's about Go, which is a Japanese like strategy board game like chess. Really fucking good series, but that's for another day. Now this is about shogi. I can't remember exactly what the story is called, but it's really fucking good for some people. At the same time, it's a lot of really weird. It's like this really weird overarching plot. Yeah, March comes in like a lion. That's what it is. As this really weird overarching plot of him going out with this girl who I'm pretty sure is like 14, or when he is like, how old is, I can't remember how old he is, but I don't know. It's really fucking weird, my opinion. At least that's a plot, but it could just be me being like, me not knowing like the entire story and like that. But I don't know. It just seems really fucking weird. But the overall plot seems really interesting. All right, I'm gonna switch this music because right now this is not hitting. Ooh, on this goes hard a bit. You know what I mean? This kind of slaps. All right, be right back though. All right, I'm just double checking something. Okay. All right. Now, let's talk about this, dude. I'm sorry if that was the loudest fucking sniff in the entire world. I apologize. All right. This is like a very OGs, like 2010 type of thing. You know what I mean? Like, this seems like the epitome of like 90s or early 2000s. I can't find Kakura Tada's masterpiece. What the fuck is it? I don't know. I'm just I haven't read. This seems like a very typical shonen back then type of anime or manga. JoJo's Steel Ball Run. I have not read it. Really fucking good though. I should add another one where I've watched anime. Watched anime. Or watched the anime. Not manga. I haven't, not manga. Then add a row below, which is watch the anime. This is how we need to do it because it makes it look way better. Watched the anime. I did sadly watch that. Did watch that. No, did watch that. 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 I would watch JoJo, but on Steel Ball Run, Bell Class Wise watching that. Did watch that. Let's. Did I watch anything else? Now we're good. We're getting pretty close, boys, of completing this tier list. I haven't read or watched. We're getting pretty close to the end. It sucks I had to end stream previously, but you know, I think if you were there, you could probably tell why I did that. Okay. This is Holy Land. Holy Land is probably one of the greatest manga of all time, in my opinion, as well. I have not completed it. I have read it, though. And I read quite a bit. I've read like 20, 30 chapters of that. So I think I'll put that in A tier. Asumi Poon Poon. I think I should probably put that S tier. I've only read the first 2 to 3 or 4 chapters of this, and I already know I could put it. I'm already going to put it in S tier just because of how emotional it is and how. I remember the first chapter. This isn't really spoiling because it's in the first chapter. The first chapter is one of the most emotional first chapters I've ever read in the piece of media because of just what the fuck happens in it. It is very, 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 very sad. Within the first chapter, we see the main character is depicted as a bird, which I think is trying to kind of. Which I think is, which helps out so much, because if he wasn't depicted as a bird, all right. So basically, in the first chapter, the overall story is following the main character Poon Poon throughout his life. We start off as him being, I'm pretty sure, in grade school, or like primary school, or in like around kindergarten in America, where we basically see his parents already arguing, and I'm pretty sure his dad is alcoholic, or if I remember correctly, his dad is an alcoholic who kills his wife and his mother. Or no, I'm pretty sure his mom kills his father because of him beating her. And it's very emotional as we follow through his life of him having to deal with so many terrible circumstances. It's a romance, psychological, and a dark story. I haven't completed it. I read the first 3 chapters. I kind of got into the story because of the anime man and Trash Chased. and also because I already heard about how like emotional the story is, and I wanted to read it. I remember reading it at school, and it's very hard to read. I'm not going to lie; it's a very, very hard story to read. But still, if you're really interested in very like real stories, I highly recommend reading it. It is genuinely a very good story. It's just very hard to get through because of like what's happening to this poor soul in the story. And what makes it a bit lighter or a bit better to read is because the main character is depicted, as I said, as like a bird instead of a human being. It gives the story a bit more life to it instead of just being a straight up like just straight up just fucking depressing story. We don't really we can't really picture we could picture ourselves being the character because there's no face to the character. It's a bird. It helps out a lot, but at the same time, seeing this bird and seeing the ways the author can kind of depict the sadness within this bird as well as it's very like he's insanely talented storyteller and artist. So I highly recommend reading it though. To anybody who's interested in a very like serious story. All right, let's continue on to the next story or next manga. Sorry. A bride story. It sounds like a shoujo. I don't really read shoujos. I don't know why. They're all really good, but at the same time, I don't really know why. Let's go on and continue on. I'm gonna put this in. Haven't read or watched. Oh, this is. I think I've heard of this story before. Blue Exorcist. I watched anime. Tokyo Ghoul watched anime. Watch anime. Oh, I'm not gonna rush through this though. I am almost finished. I'm proud of myself. I did have to delete the previous VOD though. It really sucks, but at the same time, it is what it is. You have to do what you have to do. I am going to quickly double check something though. All right, we're all good though. We're all good. We're all good. We're all good. Way later down the line, I am going to maybe tell why. It's a story for another day, though, in my opinion. Yeah, so Chiha Furu. It's also a shogi anime. I watched the anime for this, but like for some reason I don't know why I couldn't get into it. I couldn't get into it. It's a very good story though. For anybody who ever wants to watch a very good shoujo like anime, there's nothing wrong with shoujo anime. Some people think they're very defensive, not wanting to watch it because it's a quote unquote girl anime, but it's really good. It's really good, and I highly recommend anybody who to basically watch it. It's insanely good. But for One Punch Man, I read the manga and watched anime for this, but for both, I would honestly put this in. It's a rare S tier. The more I think about the more, I should maybe lower some of these down. All right. Now we're good. This fucking. I remember reading this and it's fucking. I forgot what the name was. Let me look up the name. What is this? 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 I remember reading it. Ajin. Yeah, Ajin is so weird. I remember reading it even back then. I didn't like it. I feel so fucking generic. I don't know what it is. It's basically this dude could summon a fucking like a monster or some shit, or he transform into it. It's one or the other. It's not very good. It's trying to be dark when in reality it's not good. Oh yeah, One Punch Man just needs no introduction in my opinion. But my reason to love it is it's basically the only quote unquote comedy story that I actually believe is funny and also really good. It's serious at times, it's funny at times, it's a gag manga that's actually good. It's so hard for a gag manga to actually be really good in my opinion. Because the jokes just get stale after like a really long time. But One Punch Man is different in that it doesn't only focus on Saitama, and sometimes it hardly ever focuses on Saitama within certain arcs. Because like Saitama it's in the One Punch Man. If he could show up and easily defeat anything. So there's like times when he just never shows up, when you have a very emotional development with other characters, which makes it so good and really unique compared to other, I think, gag mangas, and not just gag mangas in general, but like anime and manga in general. It's the one gag manga that's actually good. It's so weird to say that, but like it really is. I can't really think of any popular gag manga that's just as popular as One Punch Man, other than Gintama. And Gintama follows the same formula. If you've noticed, they're both really serious at times, and they're both really funny at times. That's what you kind of have to do with gag manga. Is that you can't just be a straight gag manga and be as popular as Gintama or One Punch Man. And what's really interesting though with One Punch Man is that Saitama, for multiple chapters, or sometimes tens of chapters, is he never shows up. Because One Punch Man, it's in its name, he can easily end the conflict with one punch. So like you have just like tens of chapters of just him never showing up, and that's completely fine. Everybody loves Saitama, but like the other characters on One Punch Man are so well developed and so interesting that I'm fine with it. It's so weird, and the art is so amazing as well. It's made by the same artist who made Aisho 21, and the art is legendary. It's legendary. It's peak art. It's so good. I highly recommend people to watch One Punch Man, not just watch the anime, but actually read One Punch Man. The art at times is better than anime. It's season 1 anime even, which is unbelievable to say because season 1 anime, still to this very day, it came out I think it came out a decade ago. It still holds up and still better than most anime. The art in One Punch Man is better than most manga. Better than most manga artists, which is insane to say. Well, actually not, because it's made by the same artist who did Aisho 21, but still, it's so good. I highly recommend everybody, if you want something that's really funny but serious, watch or read One Punch Man. Really good. Really, really, really good. Now, I don't know what this one is. I've been thinking in my head, what in the world could this be? I don't know. I don't think I've ever even read this one. Oh, wait, Mob Psycho? What the fuck? I couldn't tell. Still, I know this is so crazy to say, but like, I haven't read or watched it. I haven't read or watched Mob Psycho. I know I should. I watched one episode of Mob Psycho, but still, I'm gonna put I haven't watched or read it. Mainly because I watched it like 2 or 3 years ago. Or it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I just tried to pick something and I wasn't really paying attention to it. I know it's really good. I really should, but maybe someday. I know what it's about, kind of, but we're gonna leave it at that. Real Life. Real Life is one of the very few stories, manga that is actually colored. It's so weird because everybody, whenever you think about colored, manga or manhwa, it's manhwa. Everybody thinks of manhwa. For people who don't know what manhwa is Korean comics or Korean manga. Back then, some people may not know this, but back then, like 20 years ago, they kind of followed the manga formula, which is there's like manga panels, it's in black and white, and they switched over to colored. They switched over to like colored comics. And they also switched over to a phone, like swiping, like not panels, but like free flow panels where you could just kind of go on your phone and swipe down. They changed that about like a decade. I was about like a decade or like 12 years ago. They changed that and it blew up. The reason why they did that is because whenever you're in trains, you just want to use your phone and kind of go down. I guess in Korea, that's what they did. And it blew up there. It's really good. And Japanese publishers don't really follow that way to this very day. Even with the rise in digital publishing of manga, they still don't do that. They follow black and white panels. They still do that. And Real Life did something different. It's colorized. It's a manga about characters. I don't really want to spoil too much. It's a manga about characters. I read the entire thing. It's a manga about characters that kind of take a pill and they from a company and they go back in time in order to basically solve another character's issues. I don't want to spoil too much, but that's basically what it's about. It's colored and it's really unique because of that. It's colored with manga panels, and there's not a single other manga that's actually done that. I highly recommend it if you want a romance story. That's not really a spoiler, but at the same time, it's part of the genre. That's what it is. It's really good. I don't really want to spoil it because a lot of people have heard about it, but it's unique. So I highly recommend that. I'm gonna put this in A tier. Well, actually B tier. I'll put in B tier. I really recommend it if you want a romance story. Another one that's not on here is Blue Box. I highly, 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 highly recommend reading Blue Box. You could literally read it for free on Manga Plus. It's an app that's made by Shueisha. It's an official manga app. It's also translated. It's an official translation as well. Highly recommend reading Blue Box. Fingers crossed it gets an anime. To anybody in chat, really fucking good, really good. I don't really like romance stories, so that's saying something. Now, this is where I might have a controversial take. This is Black Clover. Black Clover, a lot of people fucking hate it because of the annoying ass protagonist. It's voice acted by someone who constantly kept on fucking screaming in the anime, and that made people not like it. And also because it's insanely generic in the beginning. It actually has really good world building from what I can remember later on in the story, but if it takes that long to actually get you hooked into a story, that's a problem. So I would say I would rate this C tier. Oh, we noticed right next to all the other shonen trash. I don't want to make fun of Bleach because Bleach in the beginning is good, but like, yeah, it's I don't like generic shonen. I really don't. My Hero is in that same tier. Some people love My Hero. I stand by. All my friends love it. I stand by what I said, and I'm gonna hold my ground. I think it's generic as fuck. I don't think there's nothing that catches my eye to My Hero. It's literally the same as all the other high school shonen anime. Like if you're basing it's so weird to me. I know that I'm probably one of the very few people who's like this, but it's same with Naruto when I'm thinking a 17-year-old to save the entire world. That sounds so weird to me saying that out loud. The same goes with My Hero. I know it's because of the plot, you kind of have to do it, and also because it's a shonen. Shonen is typically geared to the younger demographic, and a younger demographic typically probably wants anime or a main character that's closer to their age. But with My Hero, it's so fucking generic, and Black Clover as well feels very generic. It follows the Naruto trope where you have three characters are part of a squad, and the squad leader is Kakashi. He's very strong. I mean, don't get me wrong, like I said before, it gets very interesting later on. But if it takes really that long for you to do something that actually is going to catch the audience, that's a major issue, in my opinion. So I'm going to put it C tier. I read the manga as well, and even way later on in the story, it's still not as good as anything right above it. So I think C tier is a pretty good tier. It's a tier that's basically the shonen tier, the shonen trash tier. I'm so happy that the overall culture at Shonen Jump has shifted towards more darker stories, and stories are a bit more mature. Because back then, it feels like it was very battle shonen-y, which is still, it's very prevalent, I think, within Shonen Jump of battle shonen, but now it's actually fucking good. It's actually real. It's actually like actually really good. Sorry, I have a retainer in my mouth. Actually, I'm talking like that, but it is really good. It is really really good. Like right now in Shonen Jump, we have things like Chainsaw Man. We have things like Jujutsu Kaisen, which is also generic shonen, but it does something I think a bit different. We have things like Blue Box, which is part of Shonen Jump, but it's a romance story that's really good. But then, even though in modern day shonen, like Shonen Jump, we have really good stories, we have stories like Fire Force, which is by far one of the most generic stories of all time. I read the manga for this. I read 3 chapters of it, and even then, I knew, oh shit. It's made by the same. It's made by the same author who made not Angel Beats. It's made by the other dude who made the thing with the devils and shit like that. What? God damn it! What the fuck did this guy make? What the fuck did this guy make? Oh, Force. God damn it. He made Soul Eater. Yeah, he made Soul Eater, which, don't get me wrong, Soul Eater... Well, no, Soul Eater is also shit. One of my friends like Soul Eater. I don't know why. Well, I know why, but, like, still, it's... No, D tier. Straight... Oh, wait. What is this? Oh, it's Golden Kamui. I've not watched that. I've not watched or read that. But back to what I was saying. Fire Force is the epitome of what's wrong with Battle Shonen. It sucks because it was made by the people who made JoJo, like the animation studio. What are they called? Atom Studio or something like that. I wish I utilized the resources to like a much better for like adapting a much better anime, but it is what it is. You can't change the past. But it's the epitome of what's wrong with Battle Shonen. And adding unnecessary like ecchi elements to a shonen anime. There's zero reason to do that. And I think the reason why they did that is because they realized how boring the fucking story is. It's ass. There's nothing eye-catching about it. There's nothing. The only thing that makes people even somewhat interested in the story is about firefighters. Which is unique because there's not a lot of stories that are like, there's not a lot of stories that talk about, or tell a story about firefighters. Now, Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer is also I don't know what made people love this anime or love the story. Well, I know what it is. It's the animation. It's made by Ufotable. Ufotable is amazing. But this is about the manga. I read the manga. It's shit. It's not good. D tier. D tier, D tier, D tier. This is a manga tier list, non-anime tier list, okay? It's not good. It's overrated in my opinion. I think this is not even this is a popular opinion. Everybody knows it's overrated, but they watch it because of the animation. They don't watch it because of the story. For some reason, people love the annoying guy who does the lightning sword thing. Everybody loves him. I don't know why, but this is D tier. It is one thing I love about it though. It is it's what period is it in? Hermogen period? I forgot whatever period. It's samurai period. It is really good though. That period is really good, but doesn't change that the story is really not unique. This looks like a generic 2010s manga. What is this? Oh, why am I going on there? Oh, Snippy tool. Ugh. Can't be doing that. What's going here? I'm super paranoid about leaking something. I apologize if I'm... Oh, Grand Blue! I remember reading one chapter of this like years ago. Where to put this? I'll put haven't read or watched. It's been so long. I remember it being like a romance ecchi-esque manga. So if you're into that, this was made by like around 2000s to 2010s. You can easily tell from from the art style. The 2010s and the 2000s to 2010s, like manga and anime aesthetic is very unique and eye-catching. Thank God it's staying there because oh man, you could tell how aging that type of art style is. I don't know why that was really popular back then as well. Now what is this? What is that actually? Let's check. I'm losing my voice. I've been talking consistently for like 2 hours. I'm impressed with myself actually. I don't know if anybody in chat, but like I'm truly impressed with myself. I did have to delete my previous VOD. That's for a story for another day. I don't want to tell it now. I will tell it like way later down the line. Tomorrow or sometime next week, I will do a anime tier list, by the way. But here's the thing. I have not watched an anime, like a new anime in so long. But back in the day, man, holy shit. I feel like an old man by saying that. I apologize. A couple years ago, I watched so much fucking anime. But as I've grown up, right, I kind of anime doesn't really. I feel like I'm turning into an anime man, like Joey. I don't know what it is. I just like manga more. I feel like it's because you could read more, and there's stories like Kingdom and Vagabond that I can't really get in anime form. But Komi Can't Communicate. I've not watched the manga or read. I mean, I haven't read the manga or watched the anime for this, so I'm gonna put it there. Oh, I'm gonna leave it there. Wait, no, I've not watched the anime. But from what I've heard, some people said it was good, some people said it was bad. I remember looking on my anime list, and I think it was good. I can't really remember. Holy crap, my voice sounds weird right now. Ooh, Dr. Stone. Watch the anime. I thought it was going to be like really good, but like I love the premise. I think everybody loves the premise. You know, it's like a scientist, but then it turned to a battle shonen. I didn't really watch season 2, but like it slowly but surely felt like it was turned to a battle shonen. And from what I've heard from other people, it also, I feel like it told me it turned into a battle shonen. Battle shonen is an acquired taste, or not really an acquired taste. It depends on the story. Some stories can really go all out on the battle shonen aspect, but it feels very 2010-esque. Battle shonens feel sometimes very boring because it's the same exact thing. It has you know the it has like Naruto, Bleach. It has the power scaling going out of whack compared to like, you know what I'm talking about, like with the I can't speak right now. I feel like I've been talking too much, but the power scaling goes from 0 to 100 within such a short time frame of them, like from going from like a small fight to like galactic level fighting with fucking Naruto. I don't really like that. That's why I love One Piece so much. One Piece is like what you want in a story. It's like Oda is probably one of the best storytellers of all time because from day one, we already have the power scaling set. Because within the first 50 chapters, when Saji's introduced, we're already introduced with Mihawk, and he's the greatest swordsman in the entire world. He's the best swordsman of all time. He's the best swordsman ever. We have Mihawk, and we already had the power scaling set right then and there. He's already within the top 10 strongest people in the entire anime, and he's already set within the first 50 chapters, and we already know how strong he is. That's the reason why I love One Piece, and that's the reason why it's one of my favorite stories of all time. Is because like the power scaling in the manga is perfect. And it's very hard for some people to actually do that. Because some people, as they're writing the story, they're adding more characters and they want to freshen up the story and they want to add a little bit of spice into it. So they add new power things. They add new new powers in it. And that makes their entire power like system out of whack. So, and a perfect example of this, I think, is with One Piece, ironically, because originally it was just Devil Fruits, and he added hockey into the play. And for most stories, if you add something like that, it makes the power scaling get fucking nutty. You know what I mean? and I think with a lot of stories, that they can't really emulate what Oda does. That's not to say that like, Naruto is shit. I don't know. I was about to say there. Woof. No, Naruto's the epitome of like something that's nostalgic ridden. I would say. But I think I'm gonna end that little rant right there. Vagabond and Kingdom. There can only be one S plus tier, and it's up to these two stories. Let's change the music a little bit. No, we need to add a little bit of... Oh, is Saman watching me, I think? Maybe Saman is watching me. Oh, it's CC. I had to delete my VOD previously, and it made me really sad. It made me so fucking sad. I'll tell that story for another day, though. But these are last two stories, or last two manga. Hop in VC? No. I'm probably getting off after this. I'm tired. Oh, man. Vagabond and Kingdom. I'm so sad about to leave my other VOD. I'm going to tell that story probably within like a month because I kind of have to. I'm not really paranoid about what happened, but at the same time, I like 7 people, I think, watching me. So I had to like immediately delete that fucking VOD. God damn it, man. That makes me so sad. It makes me so sad. Alright, so Vagabond and Kingdom. You want to know? No. I mean, I don't want to say it's not really that bad. No, I mean, yeah, yes and no. What I leaked, I think it is pretty bad, but at the same time, it's not. I don't know how like 5 people came in at the same exact time. Did my like stream get recommended to like 8, like I don't know, like 100 people? I talked a lot in this in my like 2 streams, so I'm a bit happy with that. No. It was not that. No, I didn't leak anything like that. Alright, so Vagabond and Kingdom. I think Kingdom should go S+ tier. But at the same time, yeah. Fuck. I don't want to put both, but like both are masterpieces in my opinion. I did like entire 20-minute, 30-minute discussion about these two stories, so I think I might not do that. But I will definitely do another manga tier list in the future. Maybe the same one, and my opinions might change. But I think I might put Vagabond just because I actually have a physical volume that means something to me. But at the same time, I think if Kingdom released physical like English translated volumes, I would definitely probably buy them as well. Probably entire box sets, honestly. Speaking of that, someday in the future, I definitely will. I definitely will get like a Kingdom box set. I think that's when I get an actual job though, instead of like a busser job. But I'm thinking like Kingdom could be S+. No, I'm gonna leave it here. Yeah, I will leave it here. I think my tier list is pretty good. I think my tier list, in all honesty, is actually like really good. Some people might not like my where I put all the shonen shit, but that's what I'm gonna call it. It's literally shonen shit. My Hero is not that good. Some people love it. I don't. It's generic. Like, if you're gonna do superheroes, do if you're going to do superheroes, please, 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 I would love a story of a superhero going from like the age of like 10 of like the beginning. There's one anime called Rookies. It's a baseball anime where we see like where we basically see the main character age over time from being part of like the little league all the way to being part of like the, like the MHL or like the major league like baseball. What if we had an anime or a manga where we saw a kid develop superhero powers when he's a young kid, and we see him slowly but surely turning into a hero, like a proper like veteran hero when he's like age 30. We see like his slowly but surely his progression of being a superhero and villains, and also seeing like the rise of very powerful villains like this, like the Joker, like literal psychos. That's what I love, is like a story like that where we see him develop maybe his powers, like maybe like he trips on something and that activates his powers. Maybe he's born with the powers, something like that. We see him, and after that, we get a time skip of him being 15. But the difference is between my hero and this is we don't get a time skip when he turns 15. And the entire freaking story is him being in high school. I hate stories where we don't see him age, or we see him age once and then the entire story revolves around him being 15 years old. It's so weird to me having a story of like a 15-year-old saving the entire like universe. It's so weird to me. I don't really like that. I don't like having a story where the main character doesn't age and sticks right there. I love seeing a slow but sure burn of him getting more and more experience and not having all that experience within 1 year. I don't really like that. I think a story can get massive if it follows like if it's a superhero story that follows his life, if him all the way to him retiring. And while this happens, we get like an entire arc that doesn't revolve around the main character. It revolves around a villain, like in One Punch Man, where we have like sometimes we don't have Saitama as like the main character in that specific arc. It's someone else. I love that, and we see this villain. The reason why he's turning into a villain. We see maybe like in that one manga that I have right there, like Asui Poon Poon, where like, yeah, stay tuned for Hyde. Then I'm really happy about Hyde. Like, yeah, you're gonna love Hyde. Then you will start from the bottom, and the story span at least 4+ years. That's what I love. Yeah, that's why I actually can't wait for Hyde. Like, imagine a superhero manga where like an Asui Poon Poon, like the main character, he sees like the young when he's like literally in kindergarten, he sees his own father, his alcoholic father, like start like fucking beating his wife and his mother. And it's like really fucked up things like that. And that slowly but surely warps his mind, and it gets him so like messed up. And then that's just like the beginning of him and slow but surely progression. And he starts like getting really messed up in the head at a very young age, and that develops him into turning into a villain. And a villain doesn't even have to have powers. It can be just so mentally insane, like the Joker. And then he sees like this main character, and Hyde is this very complex and step universe, so I'll focus heavily on a character that'll grow and develop as people, powers, no age. That's what. Yeah, I can't really. Has a small series following Felix and World. Oh, okay. Like, these are the type of stories I love. That's why I love sending manga. Sending manga is typically geared towards like an older demographic. Oh, they'll probably deal with them becoming a villain. Like, those are the type of stories I love. Instead, like, don't get me wrong, I understand why My Hero is popular. My Hero is popular because of the quirks, and that there isn't really... No. Here's the reason why My Hero is popular. It's popular because it's one of the only Japanese superhero manga or anime that's out there. That's the reason why it's popular. I swear to God, if there's a manga that's basically like what I'm describing, it will fucking blow up, because there's no superhero stories that is like that. There's none. I have a multiverse mini arc. Yeah, you have so much. Oh yeah, I know you do, Cole. Having a continuous story like that, I've not seen anything, not even in Marvel media, man. Spider-Man is one of the only ones, but it's a movie, and we only follow him from high school to now he's in college. Imagine having an animated series or a manga series that's based off when they're really young, and we see him slowly but surely progress over the years. I really want to give you guys the whole world. I want you guys to love everything. We already see small tidbits because you kind of gave small tidbits of the overall world and also the city that we're in. It's Chicago, but it's modified Chicago. Like, these are stories I really, really, really love. Is just a character aging. That's one of the key components. I love seeing the character age. Like, Avatar is kind of like this as well. When we see it, he's aging in terms, even if it's very simple aging, seeing his hair grow is just a simple design thing that I absolutely love. I freaking, it's the reason why My Hero is. I don't understand why My Hero is so popular. I really don't. I don't know what it is that everybody loves. Because the whole entire high school aesthetic really irritates me, because it's like heroes in high school, for some reason, in my opinion, it doesn't mix. The entire thing that I love about heroes is that they're masked. And I don't know what it is that makes me love masked heroes so much. I don't know if it's like the overall thing of like you don't know he's a hero, or I don't know if it's like the immersion thing of like you could be Spider-Man. Anybody can be Spider-Man. I don't know if it's that makes me love like that type of hero aesthetic so much. Like, the Western hero aesthetic is so cool to me. I don't like it when everybody knows everybody knows you're the hero. I don't know what it is. That's why, in my mind, if like there's a manga that was made, I would love an entire arc of someone finding out who this like the superhero is. That would make me so interested, and I feel like that's what makes. That'll make such an interesting story arc. Is someone finding out that the superhero, someone finding out who. Oh yeah, the My Hero craze fucking sucks. Western media, it might be because I don't know. I don't want to say it's because they invented superheroes, because even if you invent something, that doesn't mean you can be the best at it. But I feel like it's because Western media has found what makes superheroes so fun. Or just so so fun to watch and read. But like, if you could like imagine having an arc where when someone finds out who he is, like who that masked hero is, they have the entire like that I think that Batman arc of like the Joker like desperately wanting to take off the mask or something like that, or them almost finding out. And then there's like an entire arc of maybe him trying to like scrub up everything that happened, or maybe there's like an arc where he almost tiptoed a line between him almost killing a villain. Or maybe there's an arc when, I don't know, like maybe he tiptoes the line and he actually does kill like a villain, and then like he looks at his hands and he sees his hands are covered in blood, which symbolizes him changing. Which is so cool. And that happens when he's maybe he's like 18, and like. And him having like this imaginary hero. Like, I would love a story like that. I've not found any stories that are like that. Even Western media and Japanese manga media. All we have is shitty ass My Hero. My Hero, the only like I said, the only reason why My Hero is popular is because it's the only manga or anime that has superheroes in it. If there is another one that was superheroes, they would crush fucking My Hero. They would crush it. It's not good. The entire high school aesthetic is ass. Having to get a hero license in order to be a hero is ass. Does that make any sense? Does it make any sense? Do you have to, in order to be a hero, you have to have a hero license? Does that make sense to anybody? That doesn't make sense to a single person. And even in the manga itself, the author is being hypocritical in his own story because he literally saved lives and he'd have a fucking hero license. Imagine, I don't remember, but imagine the anime if after he saved someone's life, he got penalized by that. Like, imagine he got penalized for saving a life. Like, does that make any sense to you? No. It makes zero sense. You shouldn't have to get a hero license in order to be a hero, and you should have to go to school in order to be a hero. I remember watching the beginning, and and him having to take an exam, and him like, and there's like hypothetical like, he was doing that. He was fighting the robots, and there's points to save lives. It makes zero fucking sense to me. You should automatically save. You should automatically want to save lives. You should never actually like, and that makes zero sense. One cool thing that I thought was really cool though is like it was like All Might giving his power to him. I thought that was really cool. I did think that one part was really cool. I've never seen anything like that in any like any other like hero thing. It's him giving like a power. I thought that was really cool. And him like he got so injured he wasn't able to actually use his powers. I thought it was a really cool touch though. But other than that, I didn't really like anything about My Hero. I just despise the high school aesthetic for superheroes, and I don't know why people love that so much. I think that story idea that I said would be so much cooler. Is seeing just like a hero, someone turning into a hero. I think it'd be so much more cooler than just like a generic like battle shonen. My hero fundamentally fumbles what it means to be a hero. A hero is someone who goes out of their way to do a good deed for nothing in return. A hero is someone who doesn't quit. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Hero is someone who puts everything above themselves. Yeah. And in My Hero, you know what's funny is that there's literally businesses and like I remember seeing like some dude was on TV like showing off and showing all his money he made for being a hero. It's so weird to me. Like that's not a hero. And this isn't a hero. And there's like hero agencies, which is really weird. Which, don't get me wrong, though, there was like the Avengers and there is like Justice League, but it's completely different from that. The hero agencies in there is so weird, where like a sidekick is a job there and stuff like that. That's so weird to me. That isn't. Van loves My Hero, and I stand my ground. I've been consistent since day one in saying that My Hero is overrated. I think it's overrated. I think My Hero is very overrated. I think if someone from at the like for I think if the people who made Arcane made like a hero animated show, it would be 10 times better than anything that the author. Wait, it's every other season for you, Saman? I don't know. No. I think some people loved. I said for season 1, unironically, that My Hero is not that good. Because season 3 is dog shit as well. AHU is better because at least most of the cast actually want to be heroes. I agree with that. It's the high school aesthetic that like really irritates me. You're literally in high school in order to be a hero. I don't like that because to me, masked heroes is just so cool. It's just just one part alone stumps everything that happened in My Hero. Having a mask, and also especially in picture seeing a hero aging over time and then slowly but surely redesigning their overall like superhero costume. At the beginning of this very roughed up design that they probably maybe they took something from their dad, or maybe it's like a very old ski mask that they use, and then it slowly but surely evolves into a more way cooler design. Maybe they have some like Oracle, like in Batman Arkham, that somehow someone that really close to them found out that they're being a hero, and they help them redesign a completely new costume. Maybe it doesn't tell anybody. You know, something like that sounds so freaking cool. That's just so cool. That type of aspect is so cool. We never got anything like that in My Hero. You know what we got in My Hero? There's a major in My Hero that they specialize in being a hero support. That sounds so weird. Being a hero support person, that's like a major in My Hero is so fucking weird to me. And then there's school trips on them in order to be a better hero, on training arcs that like involves entire school for like, that's so weird. Like that's so freaking weird to me. Like why do that type of stuff? Like you shouldn't need to do that. You shouldn't have to go to school in order to be a hero. That's the number one thing that I say. That's the number one thing. That's like the number one reason why I don't like My Hero. You don't need to go to school in order to be a hero. that and not that not having any masks, like, and not having a hidden identity. A hidden identity is like a key aspect on a hero as well. Like, that's the one thing that Western media trumps over, like, like my hero, my Western superhero media is the hidden, hidden identity. Like, hidden identities is the coolest thing ever. It's so cool, and I don't know why the author didn't want to do that. I don't know if he was trying to be different, but like, you don't have to be different in every aspect. Secret identities is what makes a hero, I think, as well. Even though Clark Kent only has the fucking glasses, and that's so dumb. That's just I don't really like. Superman personally is that really a hidden identity? All he does is has little fucking glasses, and that's kind of the reason why I don't really like Superman personally. That and he's basically God, but that made me really not like Superman. And for some reason, people don't realize he's Superman as well, even though all he has is fucking glasses and his hair isn't slicked back. But you know, that's for another discussion for another day. Superman is probably the most D tier. No, I can't say D tier because he's literally Superman. He created superheroes, but like he's definitely. He's like C tier at best. Batman and Spider-Man, in my opinion, are S tier heroes. And everything else is below that. Actually, no. Yeah, actually, I'll leave it at that. But this is my tier list. And actually, since I've been talking way more about my hero, I'll definitely actually put that in D tier. There's not a lot I actually like about my hero other than that superheroes. That's literally the only thing I like about it. And also the one other thing I don't like is that like 90% of the world has superpowers. Like 90% of the entire world and my hero has superpowers. That I that's another thing that is like so fucking weird to me. But you know, and like this imaginary world that I have, I think that like maybe you could count on your hand how many people have powers. I think let's leave it at that. And the only way you can get powers is by either getting genetically modified, a human experiment, or genetically modified, a human experiment, and that's it actually. Yeah, that's it. Human experiment or genetically modified. Genetically modified is like a cell mutation that you somehow get somehow get it. Where you remember like an Incredible Hulk, he falls into the like the nuclear into that nuclear waste, sort of a fuck, and that's how he turns into the Incredible Hulk, or you know, a science experiment gone wrong. That's what it should be like. That's kind of like I think what you should do in a superhero manga or any thing that I was like coming up with, like if you're slowly aging, that type of story. You know what I mean? If I had the money, a dream of mine is to make an entertainment company. And to kind of like follow the one thing I love about Japanese publishers is a volume. It's a volume aspect of a consistent story that goes on for a long period of time. One Punch Man, One Piece, something like that goes on for multiple volumes. That'll be a dream of mine, is to have that type of format for like a publishing comic company, is to do something like that and to have you market it and try to find people who have like stories that they're dream to tell of, like something like that superhero story, and try to market that like hell in the West, and try to push that type of storytelling. Because I think the most popular American comics are superhero comics that have issues that typically don't really have a story that goes on for like a long period of time. Batman and Superman, those type of superhero comics typically have one issue that tells a story and it ends, I think, right? I do know that there are Western publishing companies that do have comics that are that have consistent, you know, long form stories. I know because like, you know, you have like what are they? I know there definitely are some that are out there. Comic publishers. But I don't know. It's like I can't really explain what I'm trying to say, but I feel like some people might get what I'm trying to say. But I remember looking at this earlier, like Boom Studio. I remember hearing of this company, but I don't know if they're like, it's like that the way I'm not saying like to follow like the entire anime aesthetic and that type of stuff. I'm trying to say like that type of storytelling I would love, like long form volume, like multiple volumes, like One Piece that tells a long form story, like something like that. I would absolutely love. I haven't really seen, like, I don't know why I haven't, like, I feel like the thing I'm saying, if it happened in America or in the West and there was a massive publisher, we would have heard it by now. We would have heard of this really like big story, because I feel like people love reading comics, but I feel like people are going more into loving reading like manga because it's like that. It's a long form story they could read. Oh, you're gonna head out? Okay. Bye, Cole. Like I would love, and it doesn't have to be just superheroes as well. I feel like it could be more than just superheroes. Because I feel like the most popular comics, the most popular comics are superhero comics, I feel like. And it sucks to say this, but I haven't seen, I don't know what any of these stories, I know Akritas obviously because it's a movie, but I've never heard of Power Rangers, but I've never heard of any of these other ones. I've never heard of this story right here. I've never heard of it. I wish American comics are pushed way more, just like Japanese manga are pushed. I really do. It sucks to say I've never heard of this story. It has really good art. I've never heard of the story. American comic book publishers need to push their stories. You need to market your stories. You can't just fucking publish something and never market it. You need to push it in Barnes & Noble. You need to push it everywhere. Send ads out. Showcase your stories. Because it feels like every single time I go to Barnes & Noble once in a blue moon, I've noticed that the manga section is slowly but surely gaining market share compared to comic books. Comic books are slowly but surely are losing space on fucking shelves. I feel like nobody reads comic books anymore. If you're under the age of 20, under the age of like 16, you know what you're reading probably? You're probably reading manga. I feel like most people are reading manga. If you ask a random person, what would you rather read? Like, would you rather read Demon Slayer or something like The Expense Dragon's Tooth or Dragon Tooth? Probably Demon Slayer. Would you rather read like and then it starts getting, and then once time goes by, some people might be like, would you rather read a Batman comic or do you rather read like a One Piece volume? It's sad. I feel like 20 years from now or 10 years from now, someone would say, I'd rather read a One Piece volume. That's what we're getting at in terms of like manga, like the overall power of like anime and like manga and culture. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Manga, I literally made a tier list for like 3 hours talking about how good manga is. I'm just saying I would love to have not the writing style, like Japanese writing style, but the overall Japanese way of creating manga. That type of way, I would love to see in the West. Some people might, no, don't do that type of shit. But it's like, it's really good. Volumes, like manga volumes, the overall way of like creating a story I like. I think that type of way of creating a story is very good. And I feel like it's way more modern than issues. Like comic book issues, like a one-off story. I don't know why, but to me that doesn't sound as interesting than having a consistent long-form story. Then maybe it turns into a TV show. You know what I mean? That type of thing. Obviously, it's good because, Korea has emulated that. Korea's emulated that with manhwa. China's also emulated that with, their comic books. I think it's called manhwa, something like that. Yeah. The U.S. is the only country, or the West is the only area that hasn't done that shit. It's good. You should do it. I feel like you should really do it. It's way more modern than this type of stuff. It's crazy that I've never heard of any of these stories. You know what I mean? It's so crazy to me. I've not heard of a single one of these stories. That's just why, like, a dream of mine is like, I don't mind taking the risk and doing it. Of following the volume format and heavily marketing by like literally sending like the comic book to like a bunch of YouTubers and then reviewing it and then pushing it way more by having a website where you can read the first 3 chapters for free and then doing stuff like that. Because you have to take a risk, you know what I mean? You have to take a risk by showing this type of stuff. By being like, read this, it's good. Trust me, read it. And then slowly but surely over time, maybe it catches on to some people. That's what you have to do. The American comic book industry is so heavily reliant on older IP, I've noticed. The biggest IP, all the superhero IP, they're very reliant on superhero IP, which don't get me wrong, Batman is fucking amazing. Spider-Man is freaking amazing. But like, take a dip into trying to innovate the comic book industry, I feel like. That's what you should really do. And some people are very adamant in not doing that, and that's the exact reason why the Japanese manga is slowly but surely taking market share. Not just in terms of culture, but just literally and purely, like, just go to Barnes & Noble, you will see. It's so sad to say that, though. Like, the art, I will say, like, comic book art is so good. It is so good. It is like fantastic. I understand why you can't. Now, one thing I would do though is never follow a weekly format. I would never ever follow a weekly format. That's how literally like people die. Is you like literally like sadly a key example of this is Berserk, the author for Berserk. Like working yourself to death, working that weekly schedule is so dehumanizing. I would never do that. If I ever like had a like comic book company or a publisher. Like I was ever like a CEO of a comic book publishing company. But this is my tier list. I'm thinking about maybe leaving it here. It's 1:30 a.m. I'm not really tired, but I think it's a pretty good stream though. I've talked consistently though. I had to delete my previous stream sadly. Sort of story to tell another day, but it's been a good stream. I'm thinking about doing an anime stream. Or not anime stream. I'm thinking about doing an anime tier list sometime next week. I'll invite my friend Samad on here. Me and him could maybe do a tier list together, but at the same time, I feel like he watches way more anime than I do today, I feel like. So actually, no, I'm definitely going to invite him. Because he watches way more anime than me today. I read way more manga. I feel like I'll read yeah, I think I definitely do. I feel like I read like way more manga than him. But at the same time, I feel like me and him could come up with a really good tier list. He watches a lot of isekai. Swan watches a lot of isekai, my friend. And I'm not a isekai fan, but there are like one isekai that I absolutely love. Or no, maybe two. Swan probably knows the other one I thought I like. I can't remember what the name is. But one that I really love is Mushoku Tensei. It has one key aspect that I keep on talking about, which is like aging. I love a character that ages over time. Just because I feel like the character gets more mature, he gains more life experience. I love that aspect of a character. That's what I love about Mushoku Tensei. But I will do an anime tier list probably next week. And after that, I might do another tier list. Fingers crossed, I don't have to delete the VOD next week. Because I was thinking about creating a playlist for tier list and also a separate tier list for like talking about anime maybe. I don't want to make this an anime stream channel. Like I don't really want to make an anime YouTube channel like this, or I don't really want to make this my YouTube channel entirely about anime. But at the same time, it's just not an idea that I have is to do that and maybe do a series reviewing Vagabond. I don't know. I do want to do that 30-day challenge though. We're not really a challenge, but a 30-day documentary documenting me learning Japanese because I plan on going abroad to Japan my junior year in college. Just because I feel like it'd be really cool learning how to edit. Because I saw this one dude who uses DaVinci Resolve. He's insanely good editor. So I'm like, oh wait, you can actually use DaVinci Resolve to be good editor, or duh, but you know what I mean. So I'm thinking about doing that. I already have my 2 textbooks, so maybe I'll do that. I say maybe because it's like a 20% chance I'm actually going to do that, because it is a lot of dedication. And am I really going to be able to learn so much Japanese within 30 days? 100% no. Obviously, because learning a language is a lifetime commitment, especially if I'm 20 years old. I'm not like 10 years old, and my brain can like suck up as much knowledge and actually be able to learn a language within that short of a time frame. But I think it'd be really cool. Maybe I can learn all of hiragana and katakana within those 30 days. Maybe I'll actually fall in love with wanting to learn a language, and then I could do some more stuff with that. I do plan on buying the second box set of One Piece as well sometime in the future, and I might do specifically a stream talking about One Piece. Or it's not really gonna be a stream; it's basically gonna be a glorified podcast talking about One Piece. I might do that with Saman. That seems like a really cool stream of doing something like that. I love One Piece. It's something I grew up with. It just sucks though. I'm really disappointed I delete my... It's my fault for being a dumbass. God damn it. I really pissed myself. I was being really dumb. I should have used incognito mode, but I wasn't expecting anything to get leaked. God damn it. That was me being a dumb, stupid head. I'm not really worrying about anything I leaked, because I can't really do anything with what I leaked, but you know, it doesn't fucking matter. And I feel like a more look at my tier list, you could kind of tell my taste is in anime and manga. I mean, my S plus tier is ascending, Berserk is ascending, Asumi Poon Poon is ascending, Kingdom is ascending. All these, I think, kind of have something a bit in common. Well, at least 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 out of the 6 have one thing in common, and that's aging character. Asumi, Poon Poon, Vagabond, Kingdom, Berserk. Also, yeah, all have something in common. That's a character aging over time. I just love that aspect in a story, and that's something, if I ever was talented enough in telling a story, that's one thing I would actually put down, or want something I would actually, like, you know, as I write my character and as I tell a story, I would want that thing to actually happen. My voice is getting a bit groggy. It's probably because I've been talking for so long. I don't know. Oh, did my stream die? No, my stream didn't die. That was really weird how I did that. I looked at my phone and I was like, boom! I started going in circles. I might do a stream of me doing a, what would you call it? Me doing a, I'm trying to remember, what did the guy say in Bakugan? I mean, Bakuman. Fuck me. I was just say Bakugan. I'm at Bakuman. Me doing a, not rough draft, a storyboard. I might do storyboard of an imaginary story that I would do. I might do that. That's actually a really good stream idea. Doing a storyboard. Which would be very rough, by the way, because excuse me, holy shit. Because A, I'm not a professional writer, and B, I'm not a professional artist. I'm not, especially B, I can barely draw a stick figure. But I have like a very, my writing style, or imaginary writing style of my head is very, I want to do an isekai. I'll probably do a fantasy story or something of that nature, but I would never actually do like an isekai type of thing. I do really like, I love the aspect of an isekai in the sense of going to another world. That's a very specific part that I really like, but the one thing I don't like that has kind of took over when isekai is that the character is OP, and that the character, and that's a harem is another thing. I don't really like harems. I do like romance stories done right. I can't write a romance story though. It's very hard to write a romance story, not because of a cliche aspect. I don't mind cliche romance stories because everything has already been told. Everything about romance has already been told in story format, in my opinion. The classic childhood romance story has been a thing for hundreds of years. I do love it though, but I can't really write a romance story, I think. But I've always had a couple stories in my mind. One is like as kind of like someone becoming a. It's kind of like a classic fable of someone becoming a hero. Is something I really like. Another one I really like as well is someone who's kind of rich, a rags to riches story of someone becoming a king of an entire country and having to manage an entire empire, things like that. Him taking over land, things like that. Learning about what bloodshed is, learning how you actually have to be a very ruthless leader at times, stuff like that. Something I've thought of for quite a while. I love the aspect of like. I always love that because something I really love in storytelling. Or something I really and storytelling is like political thriller. I love that type of stuff because I love backstabbing, I love spies, I love things happening. I love like a power struggle. I love things like that. I love I love it like when sometimes like a close friend of his, I love like a close friend of a character actually ends up backstabbing him in order to gain more power. I love stories like that. So I might actually do a storyboard stream of me trying to come up with a story. Even though, like I said, I'm not a professional writer, professional artist in the slightest. I feel like it'd be really cool coming up with a really cool idea of like an imaginary story. Who knows? Maybe that one story could become a D&D session. Probably not, because I'm not a DM. I think I'll be a terrible DM as well. I can't really explain. I can't really role play, and I'm not a very good voice actor. Which I know you can't. You don't have to be a good voice actor in order to be a DM. But at the same time, it's very hard to be a DM. I've noticed just from looking at YouTube videos and looking both of my friends are DMs, and just looking how hard it is and how much you have to micromanage. It's insanely hard to be a DM. You have to deal with a lot of shit as a DM as well. When you're DMing as well, and if you love your story so much, and you don't want your story to go off road, but your players are choosing to go off road, it's very hard to be like no and force them to go your way, because if you do that, you're gonna make your players angry. Theoretically, you can make your players angry because you're forcing them to go this specific route, even though they're choosing to go the other route. And it's very hard to micromanage that and be like, hey, all right, I'm not gonna force them, but at the same time, I'm gonna use what I already have and try to put it over there. You know what I mean? Like put in other and do like what they're doing. For example, if you're gonna, you're not really planning on this bank getting robbed, in your story, and you don't want that to happen, and you're trying to force them not to do that by putting this like unbeatable fucking guard right there. But then you're just gonna make your players maybe mad by doing that because they want to do that and it's fun for them. But it's your story, and it's kind of like that. I feel like that's like the key aspect and what makes it so hard to be a DM is you want if you love your story a lot, you're gonna want your story to be told your way. But it's very hard because, you know, it isn't a TV show, it isn't a comic book, it's a story that's happening in real time. So anything could happen with the players, and if it doesn't go your way, you can't get really mad. Because if you get mad, you're just gonna look like an asshole. You're gonna be like, you're just gonna, you know, it is what it is, you know. That's what and that's what makes me admire a lot of DMs as well, is because, you know, when that type of stuff happens, I just can't help but admire, you know, of having to deal with all that type of shit at the same time of you're micromanaging. Let's say you're micromanaging, let's say like 5 characters, or 5 players, I'm sorry. And at the same time as you're micromanaging all 5 of those players, you're also managing your own story. And you probably have constantly in the back of your mind, well, I'm trying to go this way, but this happens, so how about I just move a couple of these characters and put them this area, and having to do that while also imagining like this entire world. Which, if I was ever a DM, the number one thing, which kind of everybody, I think everybody, if they're telling a story, is a different thing they would love to focus on. One thing I love is like world building. I've always loved world building, and that's something I would love to actually focus on. But I don't think I could be a DM. That's the reason why. I don't think I'm a good enough writer, and B, I'm not a good voice actor. I can't voice actor shit. But I do love RPGs. That is one thing I love. I love RPGs. And I love the aspect of how about you roll for perception. But the one thing I don't like about D&D though is I love the aspect of rolling for perception. But the only thing I don't like is that is attacking. That's the number one thing I don't like. D&D for me has one main struggle, and it's is that I know it's not realistic because of the rolling. And that's what makes it so not fun. Is I start zoning out when we're rolling so much, and it's like roll to pick up this stone, or roll to pick up this sword. It's like, why do I have to roll to pick up this sword? It's right there. That's what kind of, I understand it's D&D. But at the same time, it's like roll to pick up, roll to look what's right in front of you is something I really don't like as well. Now, to roll for perception to look at this riddle, that's completely different. But rolling to see what's in front of you, roll to hear roll to hear what's in the side of you. I don't really like that because it doesn't make sense. I feel like if I was ever gonna be D&D, I would remove that type of aspect. Oh, you don't have to be a voice actor to be a DM. I know you don't have to, because I remember hearing that guy from Critical Role say that you don't have to be a voice actor to be a DM. That's not the part I'm really worried about. The part I'm really worried about to be a DM is not getting a story, not being happy or not being able to tell a story, which is the most important part. As DM, you can ask for people to roll when you want to. Oh, I know, because if you're a DM, like, that's your story. I know, but it's traditional D&D. The one part I do love about rolling is rolling perception and rolling for those types of things. Rolling for a riddle, rolling for this really like crazy thing that's about to happen. I love that type of stuff. That is one part I love about rolling, is for like perception, riddles, and rolling for ask for like a historical thing. Rolling for that type of stuff I do really like. If I was going to be a DM, it would most likely be for fantasy thing, because I feel like sci-fi, honestly I feel like sci-fi. You should also try to at least DM one game. If I was going to DM for one game, I have to come up with a story. I just have to. And one thing I'm afraid of is not coming up with a good story. One thing I've noticed though is sci-fi stories are so fucking hard to tell, and also for me, I love sci-fi games. I love actually just games. I don't really like sci-fi movies other than Interstellar, but Interstellar I want to classify. I'll classify soft sci-fi. The reason why is because it's set in modern, like a 2020 something, around that time. But I'll classify sci-fi. I'm sorry. When I think of sci-fi, I think of Star Wars. I want to make like a fantasy setting, but at the same time, it's like fantasy is. I want it to be traditional fantasy as well, though. That's what's so hard. If I was going to DM a game, and I also wouldn't want traditional magic as well. I'd want something that's like, I don't know, like fun and unique, which makes it so hard for me to want to write a story for that. Because it's like we've already seen so much traditional fantasy, and I've noticed for a lot of traditional fantasy, it's a lot of fetch quests. Like in Skyrim and a lot of Bethesda game, it's a lot of fetch quests. That's one thing I personally I don't really like about an RPGs in general. I don't like fetch quests in RPGs in general. And I feel like I've seen in Critical Role as well, and a lot of different D&D sessions in general, as there's a lot of fetch quests. So, for example, you talk to a noble. Your noble gives you a quest, and that quest leads you on to to like having to hunt monsters, and then you come back, you give him that, and then he tells you, hey, get this item for me. You come back and you keep on doing that back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. In my opinion, it's very boring, and it's very it's not fun for the players, in my opinion. I feel like the number one thing in D&D is making something fun for the players, and also making a story you also want to write. There's two really important things, in my opinion, in D&D. In D&D, I think the two key aspects and is fun for the player and fun for the DM. I think fun for the DM is making a story that they want to make, and B, actually no. What would you do instead of twist a story from regular fetch quests? That's the hardest thing for me. I honestly don't know, but I've noticed in a lot of tabletop RPGs that fetch quest is the most popular thing in order to continue a story. And I would want to make something that's fun for me and fun for the players, and that's so hard. And I feel like a lot of DMs also struggle this with themselves, is they want to make something that they want to write and they want to play, but they also want to have the players have fun. And sometimes it leads in a very it gets a bit, it's a struggle, I feel like, for a lot of DMs, and that they make something that might be only fun for them but not fun for the players. It might make something that they don't honestly like writing, but they feel like they're forced to write because their players like it. And it creates like a very odd dichotomy where like the players say they love it, but in the back of their minds are like, I don't really want to write this though. Like, it twists the story from regular fetch quests. That's the hardest thing, and that's, you know, if I was gonna DM, I would have to figure out what to do. Because if I wanna continue the story, fetch quest is such an easy thing to do, because it's like, hey, can you get this item for me? And then you tell the players, hey, get this scroll in order to help me fight off against this rebellion. Yeah, don't lie, but be truthful. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like, like the generic fetch quest is get this scroll for me in order for me to save me from getting, in order for me to maybe, let's see, get the scroll for me in order to help me backstab my brother, in order to take power over this house, or take power of this house, meaning this royal family. Something like that would be like a fetch quest. And after you come back, he gives you gold. He either gives you gold or a hypothetical spell if this is in a fantasy world. And then after that, it happens again. He asks for you to get a sword, and it's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And that, in my opinion, is so fucking boring. And there's a lot of people emulate that type of fetch quest, but in a different way. That's, in my opinion, that's very boring. I don't really want, if I was going to tell a story, I wouldn't really want to tell a story that way. But I understand why a lot of D&D sessions are like that. I know why it's like that. I evolve the story to cause change in society, small revenue to make the action feel important. Maybe, but still, that feels like, the number one thing, I feel like for players as well, are fetch quests boring? To me, I feel like a fetch quest is so boring to me. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is, but fetch quests, because I played Elder Scrolls games as well, and there's fetch quests in there. They're not part of the main storyline, but they're fucking boring. You know what fetch quests are in Bethesda games? They're side quests, not the main quests. Side quests. They're not part of the main story. A main story should not involve fetch quests, in my opinion. I feel like a story, for something for D&D, I feel like the main struggle is I feel like something that's not a main struggle, but something is really fun is seeing the world evolve. Seeing like this overall world and seeing the reactions that you cause change the world. That's what's really fun, in my opinion. If you talk to a random villager in your world, and you hear something that, or if a player talks to a villager and they see something change from the way that they act, from what you did, it would be really cool. And I feel like that's what makes the world feel immersive, is something like that. I don't feel like a world is very immersive if the world only revolves around you, though. Like I said, like maybe you could change the world, but at the same time, I feel like you also don't want the world to revolve around you as well. You could go both ways. Maybe if you don't do anything, the world could still evolve. I don't know. but also like it's very hard, I feel like, for fantasy stories to go away from the fetch quest, because fetch quests are so easy to do. So I don't really know what I'll do. I honestly don't know, but maybe someday I'll do a D&D session. But I know one thing for sure though is I would remove fetch quests. My entire story is not gonna, or my story structure is not gonna be fetch quests. But then that leads on to something else. If I was gonna create a story, or I would want to go all out in the sense of I would want to go all out in the sense of I don't know, like I would want to do something that maybe not One Piece like, but I would want to do something that has like different, not states, but what quests would you do, like give the players? That's the thing that's so hard. D&D. The reason why fetch quest is so popular, I think, is one reason why is unironically because of Bethesda. Bethesda, I think, kind of fetch quests. I feel wasn't inspired by Bethesda, like with the Elder Scrolls, but I feel like tabletop RPGs always had like fetch quests because it's very easy to give a player a quest then go on to something else. I don't know. What quest? It's so hard. Cole, do you know what's your like style of like giving a player to do something? I don't know. Maybe it doesn't have to be quests. That could be the thing, is maybe it doesn't have to be quests. Maybe, but I feel like that's the thing though, is you kind of have to, I think for D&D, even in Cole's session, is that actually I can't remember Cole's first session. You clicked on D&D tropes. I don't really even do D&D. Yeah, that's what I actually loved about your session though. I honestly, I can't remember what happened in your very first session, but I remember I remember the entire reason why everything happened was because of Holt, or whatever the leader of the gang was, and that kind of led everything astray. But I might do something like that. But that's the hardest thing. Is one thing I really like is world building, and that's something I'll probably focus on a lot. Yeah, they get job, they do job, the minority succeed, and then the boss puts them back in their place. Oh yeah. Oh wait, shit. Yeah. Okay. One thing that I love though is this one game called Baldur's Gate. It's inspired by D&D, or it's basically like a D&D or AAA game. Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3. Where is it? Baldur's Gate 3. Here it is. I wonder if this is one main trailer. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's kind of like a it's like D&D in a sense. Yeah, universe set in Dungeons and Dragons where your choices shape a tale of fellowship and betrayal, survival and sacrifice, and lore of absolute power. One thing I really love is political intrigue. Kind of like backstabbing. I love political backstab. I love that type of stuff. But I know no, I can't do this. I'm not talented. I was thinking like a murder. I was thinking about, what if all the players are nobles in a kingdom, and there's a murder happened, and your goal is to find out who murdered this person, and like these 4 people. Ooh, maybe like the 4 of you guys are there's 4 detectives you're hired by a kingdom, and your goal is to find out who the murderer is. Maybe something like that. And you go through this kingdom trying and finding clues on who. oddness, but I don't know if that would work. I don't know. That's just an idea I just thought of actually. Because one thing I love is like political intrigue and things like that, and backstabbing of that type of aspect. But I don't know. I don't think that could actually work. I don't think that would take a lot of. I feel like mysteries are very hard in D&D. It requires a lot of atmospheric music. I feel like, and a lot of. I feel like also requires a lot of. It requires me to be a good writer. I'm just gonna put it like that. I don't think I'm a good enough writer for that. But I love like kings. I love like political stuff, like political thrillers. And I don't think a lot of people like that.
Because you have to make sure that every single nook and cranny has something to do.
But
the people at Baldur's Gate, a mad dog understands.
I'm trying to find this, but yeah, this is like a D&D T&D AAA game. But it's something I might, if I was ever going to do a D&D session, it'd be something maybe revolving around that type of stuff. The more I think about it, should at least try. It's very hard. I'll have to spend months writing it, because I know one thing for sure though is like I would want to go all out in world building, which I know is not something you should ever do because if it fails the very first time, you put all that work into it. But yeah, I don't know. That's something I probably want to do. It's something that involves nobility. I love the aspect of nobility, and then like I can already picture in my mind like players. The players could pick their own. The players could pick their own house in a sense, or their own noble last name, and it evolves like it's like a kingdom that like revolves around. Oh no, it's not one kingdom. It's like a nation of like kind of like an EU, like a United Kingdoms or something like that, or it revolves one kingdom, and it's like, and the way it's set is that it's like a round table, like in Log Horizon, the anime Log Horizon, or like in Game of Thrones, something like that. Whereas a round table, and each person is kind of like takes control of the kingdom in a sense, like an oligarchy. One of the head people gets murdered, and it's like the four other people are trying to find out who murdered this person. Was it a person who's a noble? Was it a serial killer? Was it something like that? And it's like the player's goal in order to find that. Maybe something like that. Or something doesn't go to plan, just reads it later or something. Yeah, I could. The hardest thing though is like I've noticed like for you guys, like I feel like it's just because you guys are honestly really good at it. It's so fucking hard. It looks like it is so hard. I feel like Cole does certain things that Swan can't do, and Swan can do things that Cole can't do. Both you guys do things that like you guys are like really good at. I'm just trying to like picture my mind, like, because the role playing element is something I'd really want to do, and like trying to like. I feel like the hardest thing is like imagery. It's like trying to explain what's happening. It's very, very, very like I feel like difficult. Like saying like you see yeah, it's hard, yeah. Like in the very first, like I don't know, like you see I don't know, like Ronald with his body decapitated with blood coming out of his head, and you could easily see the scars on his body, and him, you could clearly tell that he's been tortured by somebody to death while with his mouth wide open, like things like that, like imagery. Cole, you're really good at that. You're really, really good at that. Like describing what actually happened to, like, let's say like a dead body, describing the atmosphere. Describing the overall mood of the story. I feel like the most important thing in D&D though is like the overall mood. Like describing if something is very depressing or very happy or something of that nature. Music is really good at that though. Music, I think, definitely helps. You want to say so? I definitely think you are cool, especially for the very like first session. I feel like Saman is insanely good with the RPG elements. Rolling for perception, rolling for let's say like for example, is in the very last session that Saman did. for the pirate session is that the mystery elements on that were honestly on point. Being able, I think mystery and riddles is by far the hardest thing to actually do in D&D. Mystery is super difficult. Oh, Josh, you're here? I didn't even know you're here. I think Saman is insanely good in like mystery and riddles. When we're going through that last part with the doors, I honestly was not expecting that. Oh, mysteries? I'm sorry, riddles. I apologize. The riddles. I feel like the riddles were actually really good. With the doors, I wasn't expecting some of those types of riddles. Yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, puzzles. Duh. Those are really good. Those are honestly like really, really, really good. I was not expecting that. I honestly was not expecting that. And to be able to come up with that type of stuff is, I think, actually like really unique. Really, really unique. I think I would want to try mystery one. I think I would want to try like a mystery D&D session, but I don't know. One thing though for sure though is I would want to do something involving political stuff and like nobility. And if you ask somebody, if you like ask like an NPC or a character or something, I would want to do something like that. I haven't really seen anybody try like a mystery thing, and I think what would actually add on to that is like a political like mystery thing of either someone getting assassinated or murdered, and your goal since you're part of it is trying to find who the killer is because you're afraid you might get killed as well. And if you fuck up, and if one of the players fucks up, they die, and they can't come back. They die. Something like that. That's one thing I really like though in Cole's session is that when a character dies, they die. There's no you switch to an NPC or anything like that, they die. And that's because of your decisions, not mine. But the hardest thing about that is it could be very boring because is it gonna be fighting? That's something I need to figure out. How to add fighting, or maybe I don't know. Something like that. Because it's probably gonna be like that's what's so hard. I would love a mystery thing though. But mystery is so hard to tell. Mysteries, I think, are very, very, very hard to actually do. That's the reason why I'm like really afraid. And because I never really thought like I just like mysteries. I don't know why. And also fantasy stuff. Like I said, I want to do a fantasy thing. But death honestly doesn't complement a lot of our D&D stories. It complements your story. Your Red Dead story was entirely revolved around we're going to die. Because we fucked up, we killed somebody, and that led to the Pinkertons coming onto us. But no, we killed a marshal, which led a Pinkerton to come onto us. So I feel like death was going to be an option if any of us rolled and fucked up. I feel like we're just going to die. Yeah, it's a thematic Red Dead theme. Right? Yeah, it works for Red Dead. Yeah. But literally nothing else. I don't know. That depends on what story you're trying to write. I feel like if you're trying to write something that revolves around, because in this hypothetical D&D story, you can't come back to life, obviously. But I don't know. That's like mystery thing. I don't know if I want to do a mystery thing. One thing though is I like nobility stuff and that type of thing. But I don't know. I don't know if I would ever want to tell this story. Let me add something on. Because I want to do something that doesn't involve fetch quests. That's just something like I don't like writing fetch quests. That's not particularly because of D&D. That's because of Bethesda games. Bethesda games had side quests or fetch quests, and to me that's not my thing. I never like fetch quests. Just because of like Skyrim. I remember playing Skyrim. No, not just Skyrim, Fallout as well. And then Starfield is going to come out. Is going to fucking fetch quests as well. Go do this quest and you get an item. I don't like that type of thing. But I like mystery. I think mysteries would work really. I don't know. That probably wouldn't work very good for D&D. But at the same time, I think it'd be really cool doing that. Wait, how did I even get onto the? Oh, I got on this because I was thinking about doing a storyboard stream. That's the reason why. Okay, yeah. I honestly forgot why I even brought up D&D. It's because I was talking about storyboards. Till you try, yeah. I doubt I'll try. I don't know. I just like being a player, but I just started like being a player. Honestly, I'm still having trouble role playing. I think role playing is really hard because it's so hard not trying to like meta play because you know what's going to happen, but your character doesn't know what's going to happen, and it's really hard to do. That's just a hard thing to do. How long have I been streaming? 4 hours because I streamed because of my last stream as well. Holy shit. I know RPing is tough, but it's hard to get the spotlight. It's hard to get in the mood and immerse sometimes. It's respectful that you come out and at least try a little. Oh, yeah, that's a hard thing as well. I think for a DM, that's one of the hardest things as well, is making sure not one character takes control of the entire session. Is by far one of the hardest things to think as well for a D&D. I think it is so hard for a DM to make sure that one character doesn't take control. Because it naturally happens. It just naturally happens. One person will naturally take control of a situation. It's just human nature, I think. One person just naturally like just take control, and it's really hard, I think, for a DM to counteract that by trying to get somebody to get in. To be honest, I think the main character problem is a character that is very similar to you. Oh yeah, I think so, yeah. Oh, you don't think that's a problem? But you don't think that like playing the main problem playing a character is a very similar use as you? Oh, there will be a natural leader. Yeah, I think, yeah, a person's personality, yeah, definitely plays a massive role, I think, as well. I think you could play a character similar to you, but alter things. Yeah, Simon does that. I do that sometimes. Very, very rarely, but I think... I don't know. I think the coolest part, though, if I was going to make a D&D session, is world building. I love world building. I just like picturing that type of stuff in my mind. Well, I feel it's hard, differentiate metagaming? Yeah. I just think a cool part of a DM is just creating a story. I think that's the cool part. But then the hard part is trying to get character... I think the hard part is trying to get players invest into a story. What'd be a good mystery song? I'm trying to think of like a... What would be a good... I thought of a lot of stories in my head, and one story is like Made in the Abyss, which is an anime and manga that like, but like a D&D thing would be like going down further and further down this abyss in order to find... Wait, controlling metagame knowledge comes with the practice of playing role. Oh yeah, role playing, yeah. I'm trying to think of a... Maybe... If I was going to create... Alright, so I'm trying to picture what type of D&D session. Fun for me and fun for the player. It has to be something that involves fighting, world building, and... I hope as Pyro goes on, you can keep pushing yourself and trying. I can see a very fun dynamics between all of us. Definitely. I genuinely mean this. I loved a lot of part of the session. I thought it was really fun. I actually thought that was really, really, really fun. The one thing, Saman, is we should try working on is overall like world building is like coming up with the islands that we're gonna be going to. Like coming up with the island name, the culture of the island, I think is very important as well. I think that's something that you should think of as it going on, because like Cole said, like in the past, is that you can always reuse. Or no, you said this, Swan, is you can always reuse what you did. I mean, because I like asking like lore questions. I always like asking like what's the lore of this island? Do they know what's happening outside the island? Do they have any maps of the outside island? Are most of the people on this island, like kind of like poor, or is this like a wealthy island? Is this island like a gambling island? You know what I mean? That's like kind of like a red light district type of island. You know what I mean? Kind of like Sabaody. No, Sabaody was more of like a tiptoe between the red line and the grand line, so I guess it wasn't like that, but you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Like, what if we go to like a gambling island? Like, like do this type of stuff like that. I love like that type of world building. Oh yeah, I asked that a lot. I definitely do, but perhaps try to figure it out in a character rather than just asking DM. That's true. I like that type of stuff. I want to be invested into the world. That goes with all D&D sessions. Same goes to hide. I just like knowing what's happening around us. After session, ask the DM for deeper stuff. Oh shit! Didn't mean to do that. I'm just trying to think of like a D&D session. Just come up with an idea if I was gonna do it or not. Yes, sir. Hide. Paragon's cool. I like Paragon. I know for sure I would want it to be fantasy. Actually, I should let me pull up a Google Doc. All right, that I'm afraid of leaking shit now. I'm so fucking paranoid. Google Docs. Let's see. What the fuck is this? Oh no. Oh, I'm on my YouTube email, and I see a script for the Old Spice. Old Spice guy has gone insane. Yo, this brings me back. Holy cow. Alright. That's for another time. Dismiss. Alright. It's fine, I didn't open it. Alright. The kingdom. What percent's my phone on? Oh, I'm fine. Alright. Here's the kingdom. OSG. Alright, boys. Time to come up with some D&D ideas. Has to be fantasy. D&D world. It has to be fantasy. My opinion, fantasy. Can't spell. I can't do that. Oh shit! Oh no! Oh my god! I almost had a panic attack. All right. I'm so fucking paranoid right now, cool. I'm so fucking paranoid. All right. Let me do this. Okay.
Tire, you see?
Now I'm here. Let me do this now.
Good. The typing hurt my fingies.
Hurt your fingies.
Who is Kendall Price? Is this like a Splimus viewer?
I don't know. I just seen this dude.
Oh, gotcha.
All right. I have Zelda music in the background. I'm immersed.
You're immersed.
I know for a D&D session, I want it to be fantasy. That's one thing I know for sure. Fantasy, I think, is the easiest thing to do for D&D, in my opinion.
I guess.
But after that, it starts getting very, very, very tough, I think.
It really just depends on your interest.
Yeah, it's so hard, though. It's like, DMing is so fucking hard. DMing is so hard.
It gets really easy as long as you're confident.
Yeah, but it's like...
You just gotta believe.
Like, the DM has to like his work.
Matter.
A DM has to like his work, and I feel like the players need to like it as well.
Well, it's you first because it's your story. You have to believe that you can do it, and you have to want to continue doing it.
I want to try like coming up with like a hybrid between a combat. Oh my god, Zelda music is so good. Between like
you can definitely do it.
hybrid between rolling, like rolling combat, and something else.
You can definitely do that.
And try to get rid of fetch quests. I don't like Bethesda fetch quests. It's so hard.
Wait, so please explain. I think I'm just stupid, but
You know what fetch quests? All right,
What is
so
fetch quest?
but fetch quest is basically you talk to an NPC. They'll ask you to do something, and you get and either ask you to get an item or to do something, and they give you a reward. That's a fetch quest.
Okay.
It's like fetching. Go get this thing for me.
You like how I do my stuff then? Because so far we haven't gone through a fetch quest.
I like your stuff. I don't think you've done it. What was your first thing?
So Pirate, we haven't done a fetch quest yet. Yes,
No.
We're going to.
There's
but
no
you guys-
quest. There has been no quest.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
quest.
Yeah.
Just us fucking around. There is no
Yeah, exactly.
plot. There is no.
No, yeah, that's what I was thinking in my head. Like, did I remember a fetch
is-
quest?
A problem.
That is a
Yeah.
problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we haven't found. I
But
think.
I'm fixing
yeah.
it. I'm gonna be fixing it.
That's also something. Is like we need to have like an
It needs to
overall
at least be in the
goal.
background.
Yeah.
Something needs to happen. and
Yeah, we need like a
quests
goal. I think.
Involve you going to get something for reward. The reward
Hmm.
doesn't always have to be monetary, but to say that you don't want a mission that involves getting a benefit to you is just
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
it
hard.
doesn't make sense.
I just like I played like it's. I think the generic fetch quest is what irritates me. I don't mind getting a reward for something you do. It's when it gets. It's when it's the
Give me
only
an example
thing.
of something that's not a fetch quest.
What's not a
what
fetch
I'm trying
quest?
to figure out. Give me something.
Oh
that's
no,
not
like
a fetch
any
quest.
story-driven game is not a fetch quest.
Okay, but like an example.
Final
You could
Fantasy
do-
Remake, Red Dead Redemption 2, going through the overall story of like something bad happened. For example, like, you know, the bad something like the bad heist gone wrong in Red Dead 2 in the beginning, so now they're on
I
a
mean,
snowy
even on
island.
Red Dead, you still get money, I assume.
That's not the point.
No.
Getting reward is not the
With Red Dead,
point.
everything is connected to the overall story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
God of War is another example. Like something story driven. Like at the same time, I don't
God of War
mind.
is barely a game. Let's be real. It's a walking sim.
I agree with that to a certain degree.
Hmm.
But I
Yeah, it is.
You've never played God of War then?
Clearly, you don't know what a walking sim is.
I don't know what you're talking about. And like,
Yeah, actually, I like the old
played-
ones a lot more.
oh, you like the
played God
old
of War?
ones? Oh shit!
I played the old ones.
Actually, the old ones are pretty fucking good as
I thought
well.
when he was talking about God of War, he was referring to.
Ragnarok. I didn't play Ragnarok.
No,
I played God of War
watched it.
I played God of War 2018.
Mhm.
But I don't
I've been
mind.
wanting to play the God of War, the new God of War, because I
Yeah,
want to get a PS5.
I don't mind fetch quests as long as it's not the main thing that you're doing.
Main focus.
Yeah, the main focus is revolving
You like
around you
fetch
doing.
quests that they contribute to the story.
I wouldn't say that is because the fetch quest if the entire thing revolves around you getting shit and that's a story. I don't like that.
Oh yeah, no, it's.
Yeah, no, it's like
I don't think is it really common for fetch quests to be like the main thing of a story?
No.
in D&D.
If-
no.
Well, if you're looking for an item as a main part of the story, isn't that just searching for the MacGuffin?
Yeah.
Already searching for MacGuffin, not really fetch quest.
Yeah, it's not. It's like an evolved fetch quest, basically.
Everything's a fetch quest if you scrutinize it enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's how you present it.
It's presentation and overall quality
And
that
execution.
make. Well, that's what. That's
But that's to make something fun. You have to try to present it in a really like. It does. It could be cliche, but if it's really well presented, it doesn't matter.
Mm.
I
You
think
just need to make a. You just need an end goal that you want. You just need to make the end. That's the best way I can describe making a story. Is start at the end.
Oh yeah, finding your end
Good
goal.
Make the end, and then go all the way back to the beginning, and then find out. Make the beginning, make the end, and make how to get there. Because once you have your beginning and end points, it's like traveling. You need to know where you're going before you leave.
Okay.
Like you need the end all
Okay,
be all of that.
you need to know where you're gonna go, and then you need to know how you're gonna get there.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, I know. But no, I was simplifying it down
Yeah.
for myself. Okay, I'm a little special. Okay. Damn.
You guys are the ones that called me retarded earlier today. So.
That was cool.
That's why.
was
I didn't
cool.
simplify it down.
I like that one thing you did, like me and Cole's like first GD session was that one thing we played. Cole.
Yeah.
True. That was
was funny.
The false Hydra will literally never work ever again. That was actually a good reveal.
I like that. That was just fun. That was just fun to play.
True. Well, we were literally playing ourselves. That was like the goal.
Yeah, it was a goal actually. Yeah.
Doing the plot of the
Oh,
session.
that was my main thing, just trying to get you guys used to role playing and just like getting used to D&D stuff.
I think my only problem, not my only problem, but I think a bigger problem that I had with your earlier DMing is that every decision seems to be out to punish us. For something. It's a really weird thing that's like should never ever be necessary. Or really a thought
Oh my
process.
god, I actually kind of remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, because the whole wish thing was literally just meant to like kill everything and always,
Oh, yeah.
which is cringe.
I think one
You have,
cool.
like, a huge punish boner.
Yeah.
I do. I won't deny it.
A cool boss fight would be a massive fuck off dragon you have to fight.
Yeah.
That's all. I like big ass
It's a
dragons.
cool fight.
It sounds like you just want to make like a Dark Souls-esque.
Yeah, that's basically what I like. I enjoy putting into other people. making people go through.
I
Not really like-
know what a Dark Souls-esque story
Yeah,
is.
not entirely. I know Dark Souls, and I know how much of a pain it can be. I don't know.
I think you mean like Berserk.
Berserk is no, you ain't doing Berserk, bro.
But I don't.
No, nobody
I don't-
can. Well, actually, I don't think nobody
Not-
can.
Not him.
But I don't think I'm doing it too badly anymore. With punishments on my pirate session. I don't think I'm doing it too badly if I have done it.
Punishments? What do you mean by punishments? If we don't do something, you punish us?
Yeah,
Is that what you
no,
mean?
like what you guys said before. Like everything seems to have a punishment.
I think what Cole is like trying to say is when if we don't do something
You used to punish us for just like random things. We would like
Yeah.
breathe, and you'd be like, it's almost like
no.
you took it personally.
no, it's when we were talking to that one guy and we didn't want to go through the Coliseum. And then
That didn't feel like a punishment. That felt like he was just trying to rewire us back on the story, which I was fine with.
That's what made it
that's what
extra
it was.
more fun for me to just destroy it.
Yeah.
oh yeah, I killed the sea monsters, yeah.
I didn't kill anything. I teleported, dumbass.
Okay.
I
I'm
bet
on the
Shimon
court.
wished he said 31 feet. He
Yeah.
literally wished he said 31 feet.
Yeah.
20 feet. Ooh, my range is 30. Yoink.
Yeah. Okay, you didn't even know you had a teleport ability,
Oh,
did you?
Yeah, I did not know.
I used it I use it every.
I
session
fucking
right
love
now.
Zelda music.
I don't think. I don't remember you using it.
Yeah, I use it every session I was in.
I also don't remember that.
I don't
When we
really-
got onto the boat, I used it to get.
Do you record them, Simon?
I think I recorded the one before it.
I need a my stream. I'm tired.